And welcome to the students. This course has a very long title, but it's really about water, is the point of this course. We are trying to think about water from a political ecology lens. So really thinking about how water threads through our daily lives to create collectivities, create, and it's both an object of systems of power, but it's also a way that systems of power get produced and reproduced in our lives. And of course, thinking about water as life, which is both a truism. We all know that we need water to live. We can't live for more than about 3 days without water. But it's also a kind of political slogan that has become increasingly important, especially in the Americas, but also far beyond the Americas, to try and contest capitalism. So when people say water is life, often what they're talking about is how to prevent mines or hydroelectric dams or other kinds of large-scale projects for development from overtaking the ways that people have learned to live in and through the land and the water. So as Ana said, we will be doing this course alongside Felipe's course. So you can see already there's a certain amount of overlap in terms of how we think about development and small scale practices as ways that people navigate large scale processes of development. But my class will be more specifically focused on the water element of this. Um, what we normally do in this course is we start out at the Las Nubes campus, which is where all of our courses take place, which is on a tributary, a small feeder to the Terraba River. So we start at the kind of top. If you think about a watershed has all these little bodies of water coming into bigger and bigger bodies of water and then running out into the ocean. And what we do is we start at the top of the watershed and think about how what the land looks like in a national park, which is where this watershed starts, and what kinds of benefits water gets from being in a national park and a protected area, and what kinds of benefits the people that live in that area get from having water that's protected in this way. And then we follow the watershed down the Terraba River, which is the biggest river in Costa Rica, down to the ocean. So we end up on the beach as our kind of last class. But we pass through an amazing variety of landscapes and livelihoods as we go along there. So we go through Indigenous communities, pineapple plantations, coffee farms, mangrove swamps, and before we finally get to the ocean. So I think it's a fantastic class. We get lots of chances to engage with water itself and also to think about water. Like many of these other classes, there's a set of readings which isn't too burdensome, but that we will be engaging with as we go down. As we sort of go on these field trips, we will spend some time every day thinking about the readings and how they help us understand what we're seeing as we engage with water. You are expected to keep a journal about your experience with daily observations. That's a big part of your assignment. You will be expected to present and hopefully, and we're going to sort of think about creative ways to present the knowledge that you're gaining. So that's something we'll spend some time working on. And finally, there will be a final project, and the sort of default option there is to write a paper, but you can choose to do any number of other kinds of outputs. Just discuss it with me. So people have done works of art, a dance somebody did once about water, a podcast, a comic book. All of these are ways that you could do the final assignment of the course. And we'll spend time during the course thinking about what might be the best vehicle for you to represent what you've learned from the course. I think this course is super fun. This is the course that I most like teaching in my entire career at York. This is what I've most enjoyed teaching. It's a really immersive experience. It can be very tiring because it's a long day, especially if you're doing both courses, both Felipe's course and my course, but it's incredibly rewarding. And I think it's actually rewarding to do both of the courses, not only because you get to do 2 whole courses in 10 days, which is a pretty good deal, but also because our courses are very complementary and you really learn an enormous amount in that very short amount of time. So I'm here for any questions that you might have about the course or about the experience. Again, I think anyone, and I think Faduma was in my course, but people who've been to this experience can tell you about how sometimes it can be very challenging, but I think you really come out of it transformed by the experience. So I encourage you to take my course, but also any of these courses. It's really a fantastic thing to do. So yeah, any questions, I'm happy to take them.